Hare Krishna devotees. Thank you for joining the online reading session of the book The Modern Mission of Srila Prabhupada. So we'll start with chanting the humble prayers. Om Adhyana Dimnandasya Gyananjana Shalakya Chaksharam Nitamyana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vishnu Padaya. Krishna Brishta Buddhale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swami Nidanamane Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Brishta Buddhale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nidanamane Namaste Saraswati Gauravani Pracharani Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Bhashyati Visharani Jai Shri Krishna Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Murum Kardi Bhattaram Shri Guru Nidharanam Bhagavanatam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadare Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Bhagishaya Yasya Vadanya Lakshmi Yasya Yasya Aste Hare Samritam Nasima Yasya Deve Parabhakti Yatha Deve Tatha Guru Tasya Ekatata Yartha Prakasha Yonta Pravishya Machamam Prasudam Sanjeeva Yatya Kalashakti Tarasudam Chasta Chanashwant Pranam Bhagavate Purushaya Yamruchiguru Pariman Parita Pritri Geha Danta Samsara Kupaha Vivajayata Vikaso Bhakti Puru Vitindra Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Hare. So we are starting reading from the Modern Mission book. We are in the chapter 10. Okay. Under part 10, political initiatives, we are in the chapter 10, spiritual communism. 10, spiritual communism. The following letter to the Secretary to the Minister of Education and Culture, Government of USSR, could be considered Srila Prabhupada's Communist Manifesto. Yet it also summarizes his ideas concerning governance in general and stands as an exemplar of his expertise in presenting Krishna consciousness to important people. Dear Sir, with reference to an article entitled Baptists Besieged, published in international edition of the Time magazine of June 12, 1972, it is understood that your people are now protesting against atheistic government. So far we know your government is pledged not to believe in God. But this kind of suppression will not be tolerated by the general mass of people. It is understood also that your constitution allows freedom of religious expression, but it appears from the fact that you do not wish to indulge in religious principles, which are simply sentiments. We agree wholeheartedly that without philosophy, religion is reduced to sentiment or opium of the masses. We are likewise in full agreement with your national leaders that the state and the citizens in general must be organized upon philosophical principles. We, the above institution, have got our spiritual communism idea, and we want to see that not a single person, man or animal, remains hungry or in want of material necessities of life. According to our philosophy, a householder or a substantial citizen of the state has to see not only after the well-being of his wife, children, relatives, and dependents, that they should be properly taken care of and will not starve, but also even if a lizard in his house, he should see that it is not hungry. Therefore, to give all facilities of living condition to all living entities is our Krishna consciousness movement. Besides this human welfare activity for communal sharing of the material necessities of life, there is an ancient Vedic program for simultaneously raising the whole society to the highest perfection of spiritual consciousness. We are like you, the good public leaders of your nation, interested in material improvement, but also there must be spiritual improvement as well. It is not that I should be concerned only that my wife and sons eat and get satisfaction, but I must be concerned for the ultimate well-being of everyone. By nature, everyone is endowed with individual tastes and preferences. Therefore, what satisfies one may not may many what satisfies many what satisfies one many may not satisfy any other. So there will always be some dissatisfaction and discrepancies of all sorts. Therefore, if we try to satisfy everyone's well-being on the material platform, we shall never find the end of it, and we shall be frustrated in our attempts, and there will be protest, etc. Your great founder of your nation, Mr. Nikolai Lenin, was very intelligent, and he could understand that people become united only under the guiding principles of a commonly accepted philosophy or standard of truth. But if we examine the course of history, we must conclude that Mr. Karl Marx, that this so-called standard of truth constantly changes, and that what one group of people accepted standard of perfection at one time, the same principle, the same people may again reject the standard and take another philosophy as the in all, and so on. But if we are intelligent leaders of state, it is our advantage to benefit all the citizens by satisfying their material requirements. But even more, is it our duty to satisfy the need for being secure and confident that they are working under the principles of a truth or reality which does not change and is therefore absolute. That is spiritual satisfaction. Spiritual means philosophical. Otherwise, it is sentiment, and sentiments are fickle and always changing. So we can very much appreciate your rejection of sentiment as a basis for practical activity. Our institution, as above mentioned, is a philosophical and cultural movement originating long ago in the Vedic period of history of your friendly neighbor, India. It is meant for awakening people's dormant acceptance of the absolute truth or God consciousness, without which a human society is no better than an animal society. By the progressive evolutionary process, the human being is enriched specifically with dormant obeisances for the supreme authority. We cannot deny logically and scientifically the supreme authority of the whole cosmic manifestation. In abnormal conditions only, we deny this authority, but normally it is not possible to deny this fact. I think your people are now protesting against this suppression, and at the same time, we can understand that your government does not wish to encourage the above mentioned sentimental religious faiths. Our international society is based upon scientific and authoritative understanding of God consciousness. Any philosopher or scientist will certainly agree with our philosophical point of view on religion and God consciousness. We also understand from one prominent Soviet professor of Indology that a few years ago your government published a translation of the Ramayana, an ancient Vedic scripture describing the pastimes of Lord Rama, who advented himself as the supreme personality of Godhead long years ago, and that this translation, the whole stock was sold out within a few days. With reference to this obvious preference by the citizens in general, we wish to publish our translation of another ancient classical Vedic literature, namely Bhagavad Gita in Russian language. The English edition of this great book of knowledge, which has been called by us as Bhagavad Gita as it is already published by the famous London publishing house of Messrs. Macmillan Company. This book of knowledge is perfectly educational and is an authoritative cultural presentation in the matter of understanding God consciousness. If you therefore permit, I can send you the copy of Bhagavad Gita as it is, and ask my publishers, Macmillan Company, to send you one copy immediately on hearing from you. Our only desire is that when the good people of your country are so anxious to continue the natural God consciousness, why not give them opportunity to read a book which is full of philosophy and science in the matter of developing their firm understanding of truth or God consciousness, and thus very easily unify and satisfy all the citizens. Okay. Okay, Aprameya Prabhu, you can start continuing to read. Hare Krishna, Aprameya Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Dhanvat Pranam. Hare Krishna, Aprameya Prabhu. Are you there? Aprameya Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Okay, any other devotees? Okay, maybe they are busy. 11. Emphasis on America. It was my mission to go to America and educate the Americans in Krishna consciousness because I knew that if they become Krishna conscious, the whole world will follow. In accord with this strategy, Srila Prabhupada had special hope for influencing the government of the USA. If Americans spread Krishna consciousness and make their president Krishna conscious, America will be God's empowered nation. Let the president be Krishna conscious. Krishna conscious. Why not? Educate the American people to be Krishna conscious and elect a Krishna conscious president. This Krishna conscious movement is in your hands and is up to you to utilize it and become the factual leaders of the world. Citing the proven beneficial effects of God Krishna consciousness, Srila Prabhupada was especially convinced that the American government must come forward to assist us. We may approach our government leaders with our simple formula and show them by practical result that we are accomplishing the reform work that they are trying to do, not very successfully by spending millions of dollars. We, on the other hand, are rescuing the most fallen members of the society among the young people and giving them a new life of spiritual or highly desirable qualities such as honesty, cleanliness, truthfulness, morality, like that. Now you approach the government leaders and convince them in this way, and that will be the greatest achievement. They have got so much money for spending for human welfare activities, and practically we are demonstrating that they have given us foodstuffs in India and we are distributing them daily to not less than 500 members, 500 men. And if they would give us more, we could also increase more and more. A government is inclined to assist the unfortunate people of the world, and that is a very nice idea. Now they should understand that we are very much anxious and capable to assist them in their regard and noble endeavor by rendering our services among the unfortunate citizens. Speaking in America, Srila Prabhupada said, if I get government help, I can give protection to these confused, frustrated youths. I have no proper house to accommodate them, to feed them. With great difficulty, I am pushing on this movement. If the government helps forward, if the government comes forward, this means a little facility. I can turn the facility of your country immediately. There will be no problem. By the bottom-up approach of aiming to make the American population Krishna conscious, government could easily be captured, which would benefit the entire world. If somehow or other we can convince the majority of the United States population to take to Krishna consciousness, and then the whole world will become Krishna conscious. It is a fact. The United States is the leader of all other nations. You simply educate the people in this Krishna conscious philosophy, and then there will be no difficulty in capturing the government. In your country, there is very good system of in your country there is a very good system of democracy. As we have seen just recently, the people, as the common people have so much power, they were able to get down this Nixon, who is obviously a rascal. So if we can simply convince a good majority of persons, then they will automatically want a Krishna conscious leader. And if they are Krishna conscious leaders in the government, then they will act as Krishna's representatives and will be able to save the world from the disastrous condition of life. This present moment, there is nothing but great calamity. But by injecting Krishna consciousness into the masses, we can change the situation greatly. My plan is to one day be the ruling party all over the world and gradually infiltrate your government also. I think that in the future, one day we will become the ruling party. At least if we can do so, that in your country, then we may also do it everywhere else. Harishwari Das recalled, he wanted the American government to become Krishna conscious. It is not a dream, he said positively, it is possible. By book distribution, he said, people can be educated as to proper standard of leadership. First of all, the people vote in a Krishna conscious president. This is what is important. Then America should use its power and influence to persuade other countries to accept Krishna consciousness. There should also be a single, there should not be a single atheist on the planet. Okay, Apramaya Prabhu, can you please read? Are you there online? Apramaya Prabhu, Hare Krishna. I don't know, he's not there. Okay, Sham Sarup Prabhu, you can continue. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Prabhu.
I don't know why
Yes.
this
Yes, Prabhu.
devotee is not hearing. Maybe I don't know, he's doing something. Or he's just put there and he left. Okay, Prabhu, continue.
Okay, Prabhu. Direct
My voice is
political.
clear?
Yes, Prabhu, it is very clear.
Okay, continue.
Okay. Direct political activity. In God we trust. Starting in late 1971, Srila Prabhupada encouraged a few especially qualified disciples in America to directly enter politics. It began with Balavanta Das, temple president in Atlanta, Georgia, who wrote Srila Prabhupada from there, proposing to run for mayor. Srila Prabhupada responded by calling him to New York to discuss strategies. Shortly thereafter, Srila Prabhupada wrote Balavanta, I am very pleased that you are running for mayor of such an important city as Atlanta. Now you present to the populace the perfect example of a Krishna conscious person and always be very clean and neat. You may present the simple program to the citizens for becoming purified and regaining their lost happiness by meeting together frequently to chant Hare Krishna. That's all. We have no complicated political platform. We can.
See, Prabhupada wanted Balavanta to um, as a contest as the mayor
Mayor.
of Atlanta. It's there, it's written here. In Atlanta temple, we have, he is the second temple president of ISKCON Atlanta.
Mm.
And Prabhupada wanted to be a mayor. We are now Atlanta temple, I'm sorry, it is far, 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 far. It's very far away from anything for that matter. It's gone more or less. It's there, like, it's there. They used to have
Mm.
influence of this particular temple all over Atlanta. But over a period of time, slowly, 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 everything faded. And it is just left, it's meant for some people who know it. It's like to the Indians, by the Indians, for the Indians, mostly like that. Yeah, some few foreigners are coming, but
Mhm.
not much Shakti left. It's very pathetic situation in one sense, but at the same time, it's not so bad. But still,
Mhm.
something is going on. Okay, and here, Hare Krishna, I should not say more about any place. Every place is like that in United States. It is more or less like the whole Shakti in United States, as far as ISKCON is concerned, is gone. There is no Shakti. Few people, a few temples, Los Angeles. Some temples are there which are doing little bit good, San Diego, but mostly filled with Indians. Westerners are coming here and there, but overall preaching is not at all effective. Yes, you can read, bro.
Yes, bro. We can promise perfect peace and happiness, and we can fulfill our promise very easily. You and the other devotees or the practical demonstration, and whenever you speak in public, they may be also present and hold kirtana and give speeches also. Do everything very cleanly and nicely. Amarendra Dasa, temple president in Gainesville, Florida, as a former political radical, became inspired by a comment of Srila Prabhupada's that devotees could enter politics, and he immediately started working on a political preaching program. Soon, Srila Prabhupada sent him a supportive letter outlining an unheard of manifesto and a similarly unorthodox method of campaigning. I am glad that you are entering politics to try for city commissioner position. This will be a good opportunity to preach widely and sell our literature, so take advantage. But one thing, our platform must be very simple, that there is no other sacrifice necessary for the well-being of the citizens, save and accept this Sankirtana Yajna. Regularly, the town citizens can congregate and chant Hare Krishna and hold festivals of celebration continually with widespread distribution of tasty foodstuffs. Who will not be attracted by such a program? This is our simple method, nothing else. Any other political programs proposed by politicians will simply spoil everything. Actual government means to give the citizens the highest welfare, that is, spiritual fulfillment, and they should provide access to obtain without any difficulty the perfection of this human form of life. Otherwise, government means democracy. So now, instead of one king who could rule piously, there are thousands of kings, each one interested in taking only some taxes for his spending, not for welfare. Nowadays, politician means pick pickpocket, fooling the people into voting for them, and then picking their pockets. Because in 2 or 4 years, they know they may be replaced by some other king. So they take as much as they can. The people are innocent. We have seen this everywhere, even in Russia. It is only these rascal leaders who have spoiled everything by fooling the people for their personal advantage. So I am very serious that all you boys and girls should expose these Nixons and remove them. There is ample scope for protest in this Sankirtana movement, and You yourselves be president. That is my hope for saving the misled mankind from total chaos.
Actually, if you see, Prabhupada is mentioning that, okay, see, there will be good opportunity to preach widely and sell our literature. So take advantage. But one thing, our platform must be that there is no other sacrifice necessary for the well-being of the citizens, save and accept Sankirtan Yagya. Actually, the
Mm.
problem is over a period of time, somehow our devotees lost the faith on Prabhupada's books in one sense, I would say. I should not say this directly, but that's what I am sensing that over a period of time, because you are not following personally properly, and over a period of time, you think that there are many other ways you can preach and bring people. And there's so many devotees preaching in United States. It's not that they are not preaching, but everything in an indirect method. They want to bring through kirtan, they want to bring through yoga, speaking some pseudo spiritual, quasi spiritual, neo spiritual kind of a thing, which is not fully Krishna conscious. They won't say how Prabhupada is speaking and how devotees nowadays are speaking is it is heaven and hell difference. Actually, you don't want to. You actually they have a different program for like they have like kirtans, long hours of kirtans, but nobody is getting purified. There's so many kirtans going on every time. Lecture also going on here and there. There is a sadhu sangha meeting in United States, but they have long hours of kirtan and nobody comes for the Mangalarti. Very few people come. Very few people come for the Bhagavatam class. And the rest of the time, they come as they are coming for a fashion show. Can you imagine? You are coming for a fashion show and you show everybody what you are dancing and everything, and you go at night, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock until Kirtan. This is what that's actually we have why we are losing hold on the temple's purity of Krishna consciousness. Why people are not coming because we are not following in the pure sense. Uh, Either we are not following in the pure sense or we are following in a pure sense, but we are making politics within the devotees. So obviously, there will not be success anywhere in the world. uh, we become puffed up because of some success, some little success here and there, and we stamp devotees that they are incarnation of book distributors, they are Mahabhagavats, they are like, they are record breakers, and finally everything gets exposed and nowhere to be seen. They are not in the scene at all for years and years and years. So this is what is happening in United States because it is bhoga bhumi. You get so much of money, you get enamored so much that people they become like they deviate very easily here because of money, because of opulence, because of so much of so much is there here. One is not careful, then definitely one is going to lose Krishna consciousness. It's so easy. You can do anything and everything. You can eat everything. You can eat soya beans. You can eat tofu. You can eat many things. But that will not satisfy Prabhupada and Krishna. So that's why, because devotees are not following properly, obviously they will not get success. That is what is seen all over here. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, you can read.
Yeah. Among the salient elements of this letter are that the campaign was meant for preaching, it should be in the mode of protest to expose and remove the cheaters, and that Srila Prabhupada envisioned one of his disciples ultimately taking the post of President of the United States. In subsequent letters to various devotees, Srila Prabhupada reinforced and developed this manifesto. You should make political propagation on the basis of reforming the whole human society. The leaders must be an ideal class of men with ideal character, free from the four sinful activities: no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, and no intoxication. and they should chant the names of God. This is essential for leaders. Leaders must be ideal men so others will follow them. We are Krishna conscious candidates, so our political propaganda must be 100% Krishna consciousness. A major element of the manifesto was propagation of the importance of Varnashrama Dharma. Our students who are making this political program must be fixed in one point that human society, unless divided into four classes and divisions, is animal society. Preach on the basis of the division of the society into four orders, as without this, the society is useless and people cannot be happy or even have the necessities of life. When Balavanta Dasa proposed to again enter a political race, Srila Prabhupada encouraged him. Yes, that is a good policy that you shall run for public office of state representative for the state of Georgia. That will be a good platform for preaching. Your speeches must be very effective because you will always be in the public eye and your behavior and words will reflect our whole society. Because it is a political election, you can criticize openly. When there is an election, you can severely criticize, and in that way, it is a nice proposal. At least this will give our movement good publicity, and you will be able to enlighten people in general by pointing out the bad state of affairs of present day society. At present, leaders are simply misleading people, and the people in general are innocently following them to their ruin. So it is very much our duty to come to their aid and point out exactly how this sinful living, namely slaughtering animals, intoxication, illicit sex, and gambling, how these sinful activities are so much degrading to the humankind, and how they are only producing hippies, wars, and endless suffering as a result. We want to give the citizens the positive value of Krishna conscious way of life. So for that activity, we must always be preaching very strongly in the public. Therefore, I approve your plan to run for public office. Now you do it with full confidence and conviction. Never mind, there may be some opposition that is to be expected. With a vision that devotees could take top governmental posts, Srila Prabhupada stated, you will have to educate the people and they will vote you to the senators, president, and then your country will be nice. We need Krishna conscious men in public office. If the president is Krishna conscious, then it will be God's will enacted. In rhino hunting style, Srila Prabhupada urged Balavanta Dasa to try for it. Try to win, why not? Of course, we may utilize the situation to expose our philosophy and ideas, but if there is also competition spirit, that will increase our enthusiasm to preach and try to convince the citizens. So if there is again occasion for voting race, why not invite and organize some of the other devotees in your country who have got some experience to advertise, canvas, make propaganda like that, and they may come there for a few weeks at a time to help you. In this way, make big propaganda. Attract the public to hear our views and plans for practical welfare for the common man. You are American boys and girls. You have got the best brains. Now cooperate to place this Krishna consciousness movement at the front of all others. That is my request. Now I want that all my temple presidents shall run for office. Why not? We do not expect that everyone will become a devotee, but the devotees should be the leaders of society. And then we will organize Kirtana. We may come in the government arenas and there will be big Kirtanas, distribution of prasada like that. This is the dharma for the age. Subsequently, over a span of 2 years, ISKCON devotees launched political campaigns in several cities and states in the USA on the In God We Trust ticket, the name that Srila Prabhupada had chosen for the devotees' political party in America. Srila Prabhupada thought of exporting this program. Our men in the USA are already taking part in politics under the name In God We Trust Party. Similarly, we can work in England, and if the leading personalities cooperate, we can have the whole parliament as Krishna conscious men, including Her Majesty the Queen. The rationale behind this initiative: everyone is godless party. We must push forward God's party. What is the wrong there? Our whole movement is to educate this atheistic, godless civilization to God consciousness. So, if we set up a party in God we trust, what is the wrong there? We are trying to elevate the demoralized human society to God consciousness. At least this will give our movement good publicity, as was seen in Australia, where in early 1974 devotees ran for office under the In God We Trust banner. The Australian campaign was conducted with chanting, dancing, prasada distribution, and lecturing, and was based on a 3 point program for a progressive society, honest leadership, education, and spiritual culture, and progressive environmental development. Madhudvisha Swami enthusiastically reported, the exposure that we have received has been tremendous. We have appeared on television 5 times within the last month and in public debates in various churches and halls against the other candidates. And amazingly, many people are expressing their sympathy with our honest approach toward politics. People are thinking more and more about Krishna and the Krishna consciousness solution to the problems of the world. Although devotee candidates gained only about 1% of the votes, Srila Prabhupada was positive and encouraging. Those persons who had supported the devotees, he explained, had made a tangible spiritual advancement which would accrue and benefit them immensely in the future. Thus, despite apparently small results, the campaign had yielded meaningful spiritual gain. Every vote Srila Prabhupada discerned was a vote for Krishna. A similarly encouraging letter to another devotee who was defeated in an election. I am very much pleased with you preaching in this way, and I want others to follow your example also. That you did not get many votes is not a setback. There is no question of setbacks in any Krishna conscious activity. Don't worry about the result. Go on trying. You should know that your activities are being noticed all over the world. Herein, I am enclosing a clipping from an Indian newspaper reporting your activities. My spiritual master never compromised, and I have never compromised. So, you and all my disciples should also not compromise. Yes, let all our men run for election, regardless of the result, because it will be good publicity for our principles. Even if you had been elected, at the present moment, it would be very difficult to institute our philosophy. But at least we have had the opportunity to expose these politicians as rascals. People are fallen because they are not Krishna conscious, and therefore society is full of thieves, rascals, and rogues. So, whenever possible, take this opportunity. People should be informed that so long as they elect sinful men, they will never be happy. That is a fact. A man who is not a devotee of the Lord has no good qualifications, and if one has no good qualifications, how can he do good for others? To Damodara Dasa regarding his political efforts, Srila Prabhupada wrote, your political preaching is encouraging to me. We should expose before the public eye that the lowest class of men are now taking the posts of leaders, and therefore that there can be no peace or happiness. I have given the idea for a poster which shall be entitled Select Real Leaders, Don't Spoil Life, and it will depict devotees as leaders, illustrating illustrating the real that real leaders have to be free of meat eating and animal slaughter, illicit sex, intoxication, and gambling. This poster is being prepared in LA, and I want it distributed all over the world, and you can use it widely in your campaign for mayor of Washington DC. In a letter of April 1974, Srila Prabhupada conveyed to Balavanta his continued appreciation of the devotees' political endeavors, yet also some disquiet. Your work in America with the In God We Trust party is very inspiring to me. We are getting good response and are being taken seriously. As I have seen in the reports from Amarendra, there is even a prospect that we may capture some post. I have written a letter to Rupanuga Maharaja, and you may get information from him on the importance of our men themselves following the Brahmanical regulative principles. Lest in the midst of political work, you forget the aim of life, which is to remember Krishna. A month later, Srila Prabhupada abruptly stopped the political preaching, primarily to protect the spiritual health of his followers, but also due to economic and legal concerns. To Rupanugadasa, Srila Prabhupada wrote, I am not interested to spend money for your political party, neither engage our men to divert attention from spiritual progress for political propaganda. So, studying your letter thoroughly, I have come to the conclusion you may stop the political program. It will not benefit our real spiritual position. My only idea was to point out to the public that unless you have purified leaders, there is no possibility of advancement, even in the material condition. I had no idea to spend our society's money and energy in a way which is not our real spiritual life. I have stopped the political movement because it will not help us. It is a very filthy atmosphere. Better you do not indulge in those things with expenditure of money and spiritual energy. By way of explanation to Damodara Dasa again, I have asked you to stop the political program because actually you cannot organize as the others non devotees can. We cannot manage with separate money, separate brains from our regular ISKCON propagation. It is not so easy to do politics. Moreover, it is a filthy atmosphere. So do not indulge in it. I'm glad to hear all the participants have stopped. Convey to them my instructions in this matter. We have an immense field of work in distributing books, in reading, chanting, and working for Krishna in many fields. You should give up the political offices, and our men should return to working in the ISKCON centers. A further explanation to Balavanta Dasa.
At one point of time, Prabhupada got fed up of this political, these things. And I said, no, no, stop everything. You are doing too much. Nothing is working. And Prabhupada literally told, this is what we cannot manage with separate money, separate brains for our regular ISKCON propagation. And it is not easy to do politics. And it is to be a political person is not so easy. It's a dirty game in one sense. Yes.
A further explanation to Balavanta Dasa. I cannot employ the society's money in political campaigning. It is illegal for a religious society to pay for political campaigns and would cause us to lose our tax exempt status. The alternative, to make a separate brain, separate funds, and separate manpower, is a diversion from our spiritual goal. The other political parties are spending Other political parties are spending lavishly, so how can we compete with them? We do not have enough money, nor do I wish to spend our money in this way. Therefore, I say it is better to stop. You say you plan to run for US Congress, but for this you can draw no money from the society. So your plan is utopian. Better concentrate on developing the Brahmanical qualities in the devotees there. That is more important than running for political office.
Okay,
And to
Prabhu.
Amarendra Da. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, somebody devotees can read.
Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Because no other devotee was joining, so that's why I let you to read. Asita Prabhu is there? Apurva?
Yes, probably. Yes, bro.
Why everybody is so late in joining? If they are coming, they could come early because, yeah, because Saturday and Sunday I took leave, so devotees somehow they became relaxed in one sense.
Hmm.
Yeah, you can continue, Prabhu, please.
Yeah. And to Amarendra Das, I can understand that you want to run for political office, but we cannot spend money even if we have money. If you have money of your own and you want to spend it for running for office, you can do that. But for running, we not only have to draw on the society's money, but also on our men. This is not desirable. By competing with the politicians, we may drop from our spiritual ideal. Our actual business is to become Brahminical. We want to train some Kshatriyas, but that we can do in our own communities. Where is the money for this political work? That is my main question. And also, so much attention paid in this area is a diversion from our spiritual life. Succinctly, we have so many engagements. Therefore, I have asked that the political program be stopped as it was creating too much separate effort, separate brain, separate money from our regular ISKCON program. Yet in Atlanta in March 1975, Srila Prabhupada again encouraged Balwant to run for election, provided he did not utilize ISKCON's money. When Balwant explained that he could separately arrange funds and that he would utilize the services of just a few men for only 2 or 3 months of the year, Srila Prabhupada acquiesced. You can do it, he said, if it makes you well known in the city and you get the opportunity of criticizing the demons. Shortly thereafter, Srila Prabhupada again approved political activity by one of his disciples, but with caveats. The clippings for Nalini Kanta, who is running for the mayor of Phoenix, are a good advertisement and we are getting good publicity. But be careful that he may not be implicated too much. There is a proverb which states that one should pick up the fish without touching the water. I think you can understand me on this matter. And in 1976, Srila Prabhupada again spoke of devotees capturing the US government. And again, with a realistic assessment of the actual situation. The government is Rakshasa, so you have to take charge of the government. First of all, make propaganda. The majority of population may be in favor of you. Then you will get votes. This is the easiest process. If the majority of the people likes these Krishna conscious men are very nice, then you make a candidate vote for Krishna conscious person, such and such. They will vote. In this way, you will capture the Senate, then the government, then the president's
Hare Krishna.
office.
It is not Senate. In this way, you will
That's-
capture the Senate. It's not. It's Senate.
Oh, okay.
It's not Senate. It is Senate.
Senate.
Yeah, Senate.
Mhm.
Senator. Senate. In US, there
Yes,
is
yes.
a, here everywhere in the houses and all, you can see a person's name is there and is cast for US Senate is there. Senate. It's not
Okay, okay,
Senate.
bro.
Yes.
Senate. At least the majority of people must sympathize with this movement. Then, uh, then it will be successful. So we do everything exemplified, and people will vote.
Recording in progress.
Just a minute. Hare Krishna. It is difficult in this way. So do everything exemplified. At least the majority of people must sympathize with this movement. Yeah. It is difficult in this way that these people are prohibiting intoxication and gambling. How can we live without this? This is the difficulty. They cannot imagine that without these things one can live. In summary, by having devotees running for political office, Srila Prabhupada saw a means to further the aims of the Krishna consciousness movement, and he encouraged suitably qualified devotees to do so. Even if the devotees were not elected, their campaigning could bring the values and aims of the Krishna consciousness movement into the public eye. Still, Srila Prabhupada was concerned that the highly contaminating atmosphere of political life not divert devotees from their high ideals.
Okay, Prabhu.
Educational,
Okay,
yes.
Prabhu. Apurva Anand, you are from which part of the world, Prabhu?
I am from Punjab, Prabhu.
Oh, you are the same. Okay, okay. I'm sorry. That's it, Prabhu.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
didn't.
yeah.
Okay. You joined first and then you left, na?
Yeah, no, not today, Prabhu. Today I joined little late. I was in another meeting.
Okay, okay. Fine. Uh, Adendriya Prabhu, you can continue.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu,
Educational
all,
value of
Prabhu, all devotees are requested to please join on time, Prabhu. Aprameya Prabhu came the first, but all devotees are coming very, very late. So I request with folded hands, please come online and you encourage other devotees also to come. Not that Saturday, Sunday is not there because we are doing long hours of book distribution. So that's why I was unable to do it. But other days, better come online and we'll finish on time and we'll start online on time. Is it okay, Prabhuji? Hare Krishna. Mataji's, whoever is joined. Yes,
Yes,
Prabhu,
Prabhuji.
continue.
Yes, Prabhuji. Educational value of political preaching. While acknowledging the difficulties in inaugurating Krishna consciousness governance, Srila Prabhupada gave reasons why the devotees' political campaigns were nevertheless valuable and should be continued. From a letter of 1972, now we shall begin to educate the politicians gradually, but they are so corrupted by their sense gratification that we shall find it a difficult task. But if we may gradually present our philosophy in public places, that will be appreciated by the intelligent class of men. And it will become well known that our philosophy of political leadership is of the highest standard and morality. And if anyone wants to advertise himself that he has made a program for the welfare of the people, he will be forced to compare his program with ours so the citizens may judge which is better. Continue increasing this political activity. It is very pleasing to me. And an exchange in 1974, Swarup Damodar, we may not be successful at the beginning, but it is a good way of preaching, exposing to the general mass. Srila Prabhupada, yes, we should preach. Stop these things. No illicit sex, no gambling, no meat eating. This is the real social problem. Practically, you teach them that if you want a really good leader, and if you want to also become good yourself, then you must give up these four simple activities. Otherwise, all your schemes will be a failure. Umapati. People will ask us if we get into office, what are we doing? What are we going to do? What is the first thing we are going to do? What can we do? Since there are many other legislators and many other senators, they say, you are only one man. How can you possibly change the country if we elect you? Srila Prabhupada, that I know. Therefore, internally, we are not after the office. We are after educating people. Even if you go to office, you cannot do it. Even if you give your manifesto that you will stop slaughterhouses and you are elected as senator, you cannot stop because they are the majority. If you say, they will laugh. What is this nonsense they saying? So even if you give any manifesto, you will not be able to carry out it. Simply you can, in a general way, educate them. Should I continue, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu, continue. But 5 10 minutes.
13. Government in India. Overall, Srila Prabhupada had a low opinion of the government in India at that time. The Indian government will not help us. That is to be expected. They are the most corrupt of all, simply levying taxes, living nicely at the public expense, plotting how to get votes, and if anyone approaches, please help us spread God consciousness, they say no and make some excuse. Never mind. We do not rely upon the Indian government or any government. We shall take our strength from Lord Chaitanya, and he has said that his name shall be heard in every town and village. He is God and we are doing his business. So, what can some government officials do? But because we want to engage everyone in the service of Lord Chaitanya, therefore we approach these rascals just to engage them, still desiring that the leaders of this country become God conscious and then everybody else will become God conscious. Srila Prabhupada wrote Indira Gandhi, I wish that our Indian government will be proud to take up this cultural movement very seriously so that the whole world will be benefited and India will be glorified. He mandated Tejas Das, who was stationed in Delhi, to inform Indian governmental representatives about the beneficent activities of the worldwide Krishna consciousness movement and to enlist their support and specifically to enroll every member of parliament as a life member of ISKCON. He wrote Tejas Das. This program of approaching MPs is very important. Even if 15 or 20 MPs join our society, that will be a new chapter for us. Many Indian politicians became highly favorable toward ISKCON. One high point was the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh inaugurating the opening of ISKCON's temple in Hyderabad. 4 days later, 7 ministers of the Andhra Pradesh state government came to the new temple and respectfully heard Srila Prabhupada address them. Srila Prabhupada's basic manifesto for governance in India, the state of India should follow the example of Maharaj Parikshit, the ideal executive head, rather than imitate materialistic states which have no idea of the kingdom of Godhead, the ultimate goal of human life. Srila Prabhupada said that if the Indian government would finance him, he could rid India of godlessness in a year. People are fed up with materialism and cheating yoga. Why not support this movement? Immediately, we could open 100 Varnashram colleges and start running. In 1977, with the creation of the Janata Dal government headed by Morarji Desai, whom Srila Prabhupada recognized to be a very religious man, Srila Prabhupada saw an opportunity to influence the several newly incumbent MPs who were much appreciative of ISKCON's international activities. However, Srila Prabhupada's health severely declined shortly thereafter, and the new government was hamstrung by internal wrangling, and thus this possibility fizzled out.
Okay, Prabhu, we'll stop here.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Thank you all devotees for joining. We expect that from tomorrow you come on time if you are joining, and we expect that many devotees should come. You tell many devotees, you convey this message so that many devotees will join. And if you have to say something, you can say, or else we will stop here. Anybody wants to say something? Okay, so we'll stop here and we'll meet tomorrow. Until then, Hare Krishna, Vanchakalpatarubhascha, Kripasandhibhyo cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्तवृंद की जय, जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, स्वामी भक्ति विकास स्वामी महाराज की जय, the modern mission of Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All devotees, please, they can, once I stop sharing, you can quit the meeting, because unless until you quit, the recording won't stop. The recording will continue.